small business, you're obligated to use online tools to a large extent. I think the separation, the dichotomy between online and offline businesses is an artificial one.
Almost every company should have some kind of online presence. Now, maybe if you're a dry cleaner, although you could have a dry cleaning blog, it might be interesting tips about dry cleaning. But generally speaking, if you want to do business for, let's say, beyond 5 miles from your physical location, you should probably have a blog, or at least a site, not necessarily a blog.
We start out with basically no sales in 1999, and over the past 9.5 years, we're on track to do about $1 billion in gross merchandise sales this year, 2008. And the #1 driver of that has been from repeat customers and word of mouth. On any given day, about 75% of our orders are from repeat customers. And so a lot of people ask, what kind of marketing have we done? And really what we've done is just invest everything into the customer experience.
Well, today, everybody ought to have some kind of a web presence, so that they can be, so just people can find you. I mean, the very simplest thing is if somebody Googles your name or your business's name and it comes up as somebody else or somebody in another town, and you got problems. And if you take your business name and the city name and Google it, you better be on that page, like right at the top.
Well, one of the things that I've been seeing in terms of social media is a lot of businesses don't understand, and they have a hard time connecting the quote-unquote rules of social media to their specific business case.
I think the biggest challenge for small businesses is that I don't think that they realize how easy it is to get online and get involved. I think that especially for some brick and mortar businesses, sorry about that, where they feel like the internet is just some kind of this nebulous area that it just seems like this big thing that they need to understand all at once, and that's so not the case. Marketing online is really, really easy. Starting a blog, I mean, you can do it in 10 minutes, and you don't need to know everything that you need to know in order to get started. And I think that's probably the biggest hump, is knowing that you can just get in, you can just start, and it doesn't need to be perfect when you first get going.
I think it's online word of mouth is huge, because it travels so quickly, and for us, people ask us on Twitter, because we have such a large presence on Twitter, what is it that we're trying to get out of it? And for us, it's really just about trying to have customers realize that we're real people behind the scenes, and so if they're following me or we have actually over 400 employees on Twitter, following a few of us, and they can really get a sense of our culture. And it's the same thing, but with the telephone. Like, we didn't start out saying, here's our Twitter strategy. We more said, here's our general strategy, which is, let's just be real and authentic and show customers our true personalities. So let's not have scripts in our call center, and let's not set specific rules for what is our marketing message on Twitter. It's just, we just tell our employees, use your best judgment and just be yourself.
It's all about democracy. What's great about internet marketing in general is that it levels the playing field, right? It used to be that the marketer with the most money won. That was just the way it was, reach and frequency. But online, it's not about that anymore. You can have more passion, more expertise, a smaller niche that you're trying to target. Obviously, fewer people you need to be successful. I saw Gary Vee yesterday talking about his $50 million wine business. We've got a client in a 6,000 person town of Greenfield, Indiana that, all she cares about is moving an extra couple of cases a week, right? And that's a big improvement for her, right? She doesn't need $50 million, she needs maybe another $50,000 a year. And that levels the playing field and helps her succeed that way.
I think there's something to be said for how the internet really democratizes media and makes it accessible for everyone to take part. So while large companies do have a lot of advantages, of course, with their resources, small businesses can be just as good at making use of all the tools out there.
About 98% of all businesses, absolutely, a web presence is a critical key component, in particular to include and embrace social media, because the marketplace want to be able to communicate with you, and that's what Web 2.0 is all about, the two-way, the communicating and the listening and being available.
It takes nothing, literally nothing, no money for you to have a website. And the reason I say that is because if you use a blog, like a free service like blogger.com or like wordpress.com, if you use a blog as a content management system, as a way to put content and literature and images and whatnot about your company on the internet, those services are free. You can upload photos to Flickr, free. Now, Flickr does have a terms of service thing about commercial usage of images, but they let the community judge what's commercial and what's not. YouTube's the same way. You can upload videos free. All of this is free, so the barrier to entry is really low. You no longer have the excuse that it costs too much.
And one of the things that a lot of people will search for a domain name and it's not available and they'll stop there. But you should never stop there.
The first thing I would do online is reserve my domain name and the name of my business, the name of any potential businesses, the name of any spinoffs. Reserve that place online, because you don't want to build a brand and a name and then not own the real estate online. So.